Sorry, we're live. Everything we do can be both a means to an end and an end in itself. We generally see life as a means to an end. We're always chasing something. We always want something. We're always going for something because that something is going to give me something that I want, which is a means, whatever we're going for is a means to an end. And yet at the same time, there are things and a life that we can live that's an end in itself. What does it mean it's an end in itself? So the body knows that the end in itself is pleasure and not pain. So the body never wants to have any pain. It just wants pleasure, right? Also, our five senses. We want to see things that are pleasant, not painful. We want to hear things that are pleasant and not painful. And why? Why do you want things that are pleasant? Just because. There's not a reason for that. We want it just because we want it. Pleasure. We don't want pain. That's an end in itself of the body. The soul, its end in itself, is also a pleasure, but the pleasure of being connected, and not the pleasure for itself, but the pleasure that it gives to the one you're connecting to. So for the soul, that means to God. So in life, we all want to have some kind of pleasure. Is the pleasure, though, going to be one that's rooted in me? That's the body. Or is it one that I'm going to be that I give the pleasure? The body wants to have the pleasure. The soul wants to give the pleasure. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Tzich Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We continue in chapter 40, speaking about the mitzvahs that we do. That when we do it with intent, the act, we do it with intent, we do it with kavana, lishma, for the sake of the attachment to God, not for the sake of self-benefit, the pleasure that we gain. That pleasure could be honor. That pleasure could be self-satisfaction. But the pleasure that we give to God, that we attach to Him through doing the mitzvah. That's love. That's love. Love means that you want to bond to the other and do for the other for their sake. That's real love. It's not easy. Self-love is, I want to do it for my benefit, what I have a gain for. And yeah. So that's what so when we have that kavana, then the metaphor that the Alter Rebbe introduced is like wings of a bird. They fly. Two wings, like the two arms of a human being. We try to flap, it doesn't work. We flap only when we have the intent. Then we can fly. That's how we fly. with the love and awe of Hashem that we do in a mitzvah, like wings. Now, says the Alter Rebbe, interesting to note, the precision in Jewish law that expresses a very profound spiritual notion. And that is that if the wings of a bird are clipped, or they're for whatever, I don't know, clipped to be the right word. They're not there. No, not damaged. Wings of the bird are not the main component of the bird. Its life doesn't depend on wings. In other words, if the wings are either damaged or, I don't know, clipped to be, but whatever, they're removed in some manner, broken, right? Removed in some manner, whatever it is, the bird is still kosher. The bird is still kosher. Yeah. I mean, if it's a deficiency in the health of the animal, it's a different story. But let's say it's not, right? So what do we see from that? That the wings are not the main part. The main part is the head and the body. And the wings merely serve the body. Oh, is that a beautiful metaphor? Because that's what Torah mitzvahs is. Torah mitzvahs, the essential thing is doing the will of God, the act of the mitzvah. The act of the mitzvah. The love and awe that we have of God in doing the mitzvah, in studying Torah, are merely like wings that elevate the Torah mitzvahs to the higher worlds, to Yetzirah, and Bria, that create a revealed unity there in that world. Right? So the main thing is just do it. Just do the mitzvah. Or as I say, just do it. Do the Jewish thing. Do the mitzvah. Now, in order that it should have wings, which the wings serve the body, so likewise here, the intent, the mindfulness, and as we explained, two different levels of that. One that we are truly aware with our minds, understanding and appreciating, that feeds the heart, and there's a palpable feeling of love and awe in the act of the mitzvah that we're doing. It goes, the wings then fly, make that mitzvah fly and unite in a perfect unity in the world of Bria. Or if it's done because of the Ava Mesoteris, the hidden love that we have, that hidden love then we'll go to the world of Yetzirah, the world of formation, a lower world, that we reveal that hidden love. In a Hagah, on a note, the Alter Rebbe says, first point, he says that when you do it, the mitzvah of being subordinate to the will of God, doing it by submission to the heavenly yoke, so then the mitzvah rises to the world of Asiya, the world of action, to the divine there, and creates a unity there in that world. Because in the world of Asiya is the world of Malchus, world of Yetzirah is the 6 emotions, and the world of Bria is the 3 components of intelligence, Chabad. So Malchus is what's dominant, sovereignty, royalty, which is the idea of action by the king, by God. It's the word is his action. By the king, his word is deed. So by doing things out of submission, so it does rise to the world of Asiya. And in the note, the Alter Rebbe then brings, so that's all wings that bring from down here, the act that we do, and elevated by the force of intent, of lishma, of the wings, of the love and awe that we have. Now the Alter Rebbe is going to speak about how it comes down through the teachings of Torah, the divine light of God, and reveals itself in each and every different world in a different manner. So let's explain. I'm holding here a Chumash. This is the Rebbe's, commentary on this in this Chumash. I suggest everybody get this one from Kahos. Kahat. So the 5 books of Moses, right? So in the book is one thing, but it's written in a Torah scroll. In the Torah scroll, the way you write the words is important. And therefore, if 2 letters, for example, are attached, or a letter doesn't look exactly like the letter that it's supposed to be, it looks right like another letter, it's invalid. It's puzzle, right? Why? I mean, is it about the message? If you could read it, even though if a letter is touching another letter, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Right? When you study the Talmud, it doesn't matter if a letter is touching another letter, right? Why? Because there it's only about the understanding of the teachings. But in the 5 books of Moses, Chumash, Torah, there the godliness comes down all the way from the core essence of God to the world of Asiya, to the world of action. And therefore, the way the act of writing a letter matters. So the fact that 2 letters would be connected means the act of writing is invalid, and therefore makes the Torah invalid. Why? Because godliness comes down to the world of Asiya, the world of action, and therefore the way we write it makes a difference. The Mishnah is, and that's the world of Asiya, because the world of Asiya, again, world of action, Malchus. And then you have godliness of the Mishnah, of the adjudication of Jewish law. That's godliness, meaning it's an expression of God, that the holiness comes down not to the way it's in the world of action, but only to the world of Yetzirah. It only comes down to the world of Yetzirah, which is a world higher than the world of Asiya, the world of action, the world of formation. Because there, it's only the finality of the law that matters, right? Is this kosher or not kosher? Is this valid, invalid? Is this pure or impure? Which is an expression of, do I embrace it or push it away? Which is an emotional expression in the sense that kindness embraces and gvura, severity, doesn't embrace, pushes away. So the teachings of the Mishnah, teachings of adjudicated Jewish law, is godliness, is God's will and wisdom that come, that are part one with him, that come and express itself all the way down to the world of Yetzirah, but not the world of Asiya. It doesn't come down any further. And therefore, because it doesn't come down further, it's a higher spiritual plane. Since it doesn't come down further, therefore, its expression is not in, if you wrote the Mishnah, even if you wrote it on a parchment, right? And back in the day, that's what they did. They wrote everything on a parchment. They have, paper mills 1,000, 2,000 years ago. So they wrote it on a parchment. And if 2 letters were connecting, it didn't matter, because it's an expression of the divine emotions, the divine adjudication of law of the world of Yetzirah. Then we have the comprehension of the law. There's the finality of the law, but then what's the comprehension? What's the reasoning? What's the logic? What's the arguments back and forth? Well, that's the Gemara, right? In the Gemara, they debate all of the law to understand the rationality, the logic behind it. Lots of hair-splitting arguments. So that is an expression of godliness that is of the world of Bria, meaning godliness comes down, not all the way down. It doesn't matter how you write it. It doesn't come down to the adjudication and how you come to a final conclusion. It's about the rationality. What rationality? We'll give you arguments this side, I'll give you on that side, and all sides, right? And therefore, that is godliness that will come down into the world of Bria, because the world of Bria, the world of creation, the highest of the three worlds that we just mentioned, is divine comprehension. That's what's in that world. That's what is more prominent in that world, more prevalent in that world is divine comprehension. So from there comes the Talmud, or the Gemara specifically. Then we have Kabbalah, mystical teachings. That is beyond comprehension, and that is an expression of Atzilus, the world of emanation. The world of emanation, and it doesn't come down not into any creative, then it's, and that's why it's a very heavenly and godly teachings. It doesn't come down, extend itself into the lower worlds. And that's just a note. So just to, that's a conclusion, but just to bring up this idea further, is that we're seeing that everything that is in this world is really an evolution or devolution, if you will, from the spiritual. Everything is that way. Everything has its root there. And when we understand the way it is above, then we can have an appreciation the way it's down here below. So for us, getting back to the original idea of when we make our acts ascend on high, what propels it, the wings that we give to it, are love and awe. Right hand, left hand. That's the power. But as we learned, that's secondary, which is counterintuitive. We would think that the action is only for the intent, right? It's the thought that counts. No, it's the deed that counts. But in order that that deed should be illuminated, in order that deed should rise on high, that have wings to ascend and unite in a union, in a perfect unity with the divine, so we need it to be propelled by the love and awe that we do the mitzvah with, or the yoke of heaven, that we do it because we know that that's what God wants, period. Any questions, any thoughts? Let's say hello to some people. How about Taleya in Florida? Elise is in West Virginia. Simcha is in Florida. Chava in Boulder, Colorado. Davida and Liba in New York. Day 192. Bring them home now. Dedicated learning for Hirsch Goldberg, Poland, and Aviv Atzili. Adopt a hostage. Adoptahostage.net. Yes, bring them home. And many people learning for the sake of others. June in Australia. Bob is in Tangier, Morocco. Stan in London, England. Elise also learning for Daniel Shimshon, Ben Sharon, Alex Labanov, Almog Meir, Leah Rudolph. Diane is in Arizona, Sandy in Michigan, Art in Michigan, Cindy in Florida, Mr. Heroic, Mordechai in Massachusetts, Daphne in South Carolina, John in North Carolina, Ron is with us, Surish, who else? Zar in Malaysia, Michael in England, Carrie in Missouri, Patricia is with us in. Isn't Kabbalah the science of connection? Hmm. It's the godly wisdom, yes, of connection. That's, yeah, interesting way to say it. Carrie in Missouri, like I said. Devorah Khan in Pennsylvania. Who else is with us? Patricia's in Ohio. Yarrow, welcome, I think in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. We have Rachel in South Carolina, Coy in Lima, Peru, Hannah, David in Montreal, Arya is in Montreal, Brett. All right, amazing. All right, folks, our conversation will continue. Rabbi Ronnie Fine coming to you from Chabad Zich in Kadesh, Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya Rambam coming up.